What if I told you there was a way to scale decentralized apps and build out layer 2s on Bitcoin, turning it into a massive DeFi hub for gaming, SocialFi, and all other kinds of exciting applications? Welcome to Crypto Simulation Theory. I'm the Gaussian Snake, and tonight I'm going to talk to you about BVM, or Bitcoin Virtual Machine. Just a reminder that nothing that I talk about here is intended to be financial advice. Always do your own research and consult with a professional financial advisor if you intend to do any kind of investing. Also, please join my free Telegram group, the Snack Pit, for daily chart analysis, technical analysis, and a strong community of like-minded individuals like you and me. So BVM is intended to allow people to deploy their own Bitcoin Layer 2 with BVM modules. Notice a little bit of a typo there. I'm sure they'll fix that. Write smart contracts and build decentralized apps on Bitcoin, and kickstart your own Layer 2 with a crowd sale, sort of like a Kickstarter sort of thing. What kind of Layer 2 do you want to develop? Well, they've got a Bitcoin Layer 2 for DeFi, Bitcoin Layer 2 for GameFi, SocialFi, AI, payments, and inscriptions. Says it on their Twitter right here that about a year ago, the only way you could really interact with Bitcoin was looking at a mempool all day, waiting for your costly transactions to go through. But now BVM has helped power several different Bitcoin Layer 2s, many of which you've probably heard of, that helps scale an otherwise extremely slow Bitcoin. And we have Naka chain, Crypto Eternal AI, Swamps. This is a project that they're currently supporting. Rune Chain, the Real Bitendo, and Bloom BTC, just to name a few. Here are some of their different Bitcoin modules. We've got Ordinals, Polygon, Celestia, Optimism, DAO, and Eigen DA. Some of their launch pads that have ended would be Naka Chain, this mainnet launching in January of this year with only a 2-second block time. You can see the tokenomics and stuff right there, as well as the money committed to that project. You can see Eternal AI and Swamps. And you can see the roadmap of Swamps if you look at what they've already done in March and April and what they're still going to be doing, as well as their tokenomics of GSWP, the token of Swamp. And you can see that BVM holders make up 3% of the tokenomics, and as well as an overview of this project. Now, this is not a video about Swamps, so I am not going to talk more about it, but just mentioning it there. In their white paper, you can see a diagram showing Bitcoin as a blockchain of blockchains, consisting of DeFi, gaming, NFTs, storage, and whatever else is yet to come. As it says in the white paper, Bitcoin Virtual Machine is a state machine that's similar to an EVM, or Ethereum Virtual Machine, where Bitcoin is a data layer that allows it to achieve transaction level consensus. So BVM can function as a general purpose state machine that uses Bitcoin's security and data availability without any additional network or consensus protocol. And so they have a diagram right here, which I'm going to blow up for you. And you can kind of see the different flow from the Bitcoin blockchain, transaction reader, Ethereum compatible virtual machine, read state to the user sends a transaction to the local mempool, valid transaction, transaction writer, and it, again goes through the Bitcoin blockchain and goes back. And this is the BVM architecture. So based on this diagram, you can understand how BVM allows for DeFi to operate on Bitcoin. As it says here, the mempool validates the transactions before they're sent to Bitcoin. Transaction writer allows you to embed Bitcoin virtual machine transactions directly into Bitcoin transactions, and they use a similar technique to what Ordinals does with their inscriptions. And I have a video on Ordinals, which you can also watch on my channel if you're interested in learning more. The BVM transaction data is embedded into a Bitcoin transaction through the witness data field, and this is done in a way where the verification process is not affected and there's no impact at all on transaction logic. And you can read through all this in the white paper if you want to learn more about how BVM works. BVM chains reuse the battle-tested Optimism, or so-called superchain code base. So it's a modified version of the OP stack, and they use the optimistic rollups, which basically is a blockchain that piggybacks off the security of another blockchain. They do intend to have a DAO, and that is under development at the moment. As far as the layer 2, they have bridges layer 1 to layer 2, execution engine, rollup node, settlement, sequencer, layer 1, smart contract platform, and data availability. And they get into all the details here, which I'll let you kind of read through on your own. I will link you to the BVM website so you can check all this out yourself. Rollup nodes. The rollup nodes define how the raw data stored in the data availability component is processed to form the inputs for the execution engine. And so this is called the derivation component, which derives layer 2 blocks from the layer 1 blocks. So here's a diagram explaining how that works. Decentralized apps, new transactions. You have the Optimism-based execution engine, Optimism-based proposer. Proposer goes down to layer 1 smart contract BVM, writes to data availability straight on Bitcoin, and goes back this way to the rollup node execution engine. And so this is the flow of state processing using BVM. Also, as far as bridges are concerned, you'll be able to deposit Bitcoin assets, BTC and BRC20 tokens from Bitcoin to BVM chains, and withdraw them as well. So you can wrap Bitcoin to wrap Bitcoin through a trustless bridge and deposit that into BVM chains using the layer 1 standard bridge contract. And again, the DAO token is under development, at least according to the white paper here. So we'll update you as soon as we find out more, but I'd suggest that you follow their Twitter to get the latest news and developments. So it's easy to customize your own BVM chain if you're a developer. And so here's some examples. They have Alpha, which is the first SocialFi app on Bitcoin. There's also Satoshi's Gambit, which is the first fully on-chain game on Bitcoin. So similar to things that you would see on Ethereum, and even got something like Google Photos called Bitcoin Photos. Lots of stuff here. So their conclusion is we propose a new blockchain architecture for scaling Bitcoin to solve the smart contract problem. They built a Turing-complete virtual machine for Bitcoin. And to solve the scalability problem, they implemented horizontal scaling using an infinitely expanding number of Bitcoin layer 2 blockchains that are collectively known as BVM or Bitcoin Virtual Machine chains. And their goal is to make Bitcoin as accessible as possible in a similar way that Ethereum is, with DeFi, gaming, NFTs, payments, and DAOs, as well as other kinds of things that I haven't thought of yet. Now, as far as the BVM token itself goes, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to end up being the governance token. I imagine it probably will be, but that would be something to check with the team about. So this is the D.Fi score. It did get a score of 65, so there are some concerns. First one is unverified source code. So this contract code has not been publicly verified. And the second thing is a dump risk. I did notice that there were a few pretty large whale wallets, so that's something to just be aware of. Otherwise, the contract looks pretty clean. There's nothing else on here that is like extremely concerning. Like I said, they have a lot more information on their Twitter. Here's an example of Eternal AI mainnet rolling out. This was fairly recent, just a few hours ago. And AIOZ and Eternal AI are teaming up. So Eternal AI is integrated with AIOZ, which is a layer 1 blockchain. It's doing really, really well. And you can see here BVM burns, all kinds of stuff. So how to use RuneChain Mobile. Runes are on ordinals. Anyways, yeah, you can go look through their Twitter. I'll link it in the video description. So according to CoinMarketCap, and we never know if this data is 100% accurate on here because of CoinMarketCap, the market cap right now is around $64 million. The fully diluted market cap is much higher than that. I know that for a fact. This looks pretty accurate. There's about 23.5 million BVM in circulation out of a total of about 100 million BVM. So there is, an inflation concern here, but the total supply is fairly low, which is a good thing. Volume market cap ratio is fairly healthy, around 3%. We don't want to see it, dip below 2 or anything like that. BVM is available on different centralized and decentralized exchanges. I do own some BVM for full disclosure, and I purchased mine on Uniswap. As far as the chart goes, I will admit since about April 18th, things have not looked so great. I got off to a really strong start and put in a double top, and then a double top is one of the more bearish chart formations. It dipped to the Gaussian channel median line and held it for a little while, and then unfortunately that was just a fake out, and now it is actually below the green Gaussian channel median line. We can see the weighted logarithmic Bollinger Band starting to squeeze a little bit, but probably too soon to expect a really large move one way or the other out of this asset. It has been holding the lows down here in the low $2 range. So if you bought in around this point and you're sitting pretty, and we saw, to defend those lows over here. So it could defend them yet again. That is possible. We could get a triple confirmation of the lows, which would be really bullish. Since this token is only a few months old, we don't have a lot of data to be able to do a reliable analysis on anything more than a daily time frame. So I went down to the 4-hour time frame and try to get an idea of what's going on right now. Now, one of the good things you'll notice is the 200 4-hour time frame, which would be the 800 hour, is starting to curl back up. That is a good thing, and it increases the probability that we should maintain this $2.44 level. The bad news is the 100 or 400 hour is curling down, meaning that around $3 looks like an area of pretty significant resistance, and we are kind of squeezing in between the 20 and the 50. So that would be the 80 hour and the 200 hour HMA. Again, these are whole moving averages, so they're a lot more current than simple moving averages. So a big move is likely coming fairly soon, and I can't tell you what that move will look like. I am imagining, though, that this low set here on May 1st probably will hold. If I had to guess, I think we will see that triple bottom confirmation. There's been a considerable amount of demand in this region, but this is such a new coin, it's hard to give that prediction any reliability. The 4-hour Gunnar EMA did print a bearish cross on May 7th, which is 3 days ago. It had a bullish cross on May 3rd, just 4 days before that. On a 4-hour time frame, you're likely to see more of these. Let's see if we can note any of these patterns on the daily time frame. Just a bearish cross. That's it. That's all we got. We got a bearish cross on April 26th, and we are still quite bearish because this was just a fake out, and we are still underneath the green Gunnar EMA. So what we would like to see is that we can hold these lows in the $2.30, $2.40 region, and then we can come back up and break through this green Gunnar EMA and turn things around. This seems like a really good project, so there's no reason to think why this would just sort of slow rug to oblivion, even though there are quite a few large whale wallets, which I don't generally like to see in a project. This project has a lot of very concrete use cases if you believe in the Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem and that Bitcoin should be used for more than just transacting Bitcoin transactions for the heck of it. Then I feel like BVM is something you could be very bullish on as a project, and it's just kind of getting off to a rough start in terms of the token. So if we look at the Snabble RSI for BVM, we got way up above. It just got heated up a little too early, and then that caused us to crash. Good news is we did touch the 20 level, and generally touching the 20 level is a sign that things are likely to turn around in the other direction. The Snabble RSI median line has just been going kind of sideways. We've been chopping around on it, so hopefully this is just some consolidation. We can look at the ADX and DI to get an idea of that. This was a nasty head and shoulders right here, a head and shoulders followed by another head and shoulders. So hopefully we can see that start to turn around again soon and head back to the upside. Yeah, this is good news. So on the daily, we're stuck in a crabbing pattern. The ADX is very weak at around a 5. It's a super weak trend. It's just been crossing between bull and bear. But what we'd like to see is for this weak trend to start to turn up and for the green to start to pull away from the red. That is my base case as to what was likely to happen with this one. So I think we're likely to see some more chopping. And when you have a very weak ADX like this, you're not going to see really major moves being very likely in one direction or the other. It looks like one is coming. My guess is that will come as the ADX starts to curl up and we see a little more volatility in the chart. The average sentiment oscillator does look a little bit promising. As you can see that the green is heading up towards the red, and that is what you want to see. You want to see the green get above the red where really bullish moves are going to come. So this actually makes me feel medium-term bullish on this project just from a chart perspective. My price momentum oscillator does appear to be recovering. The channel has turned green after being red for quite some time. So this is another point for the bulls. Again, more medium term, right? So we may have some crabbing to kind of look forward to in the next few days. But I think as time passes and we get further out into May, we could start to see BVM recover. And my base case is a triple bottom, a confirmation. Or if you like, a series of 3 higher lows. So more of a triple bottom to me, or arguably a double bottom at this level. Either way, very bullish chart formation should that occur. Gaussian ribbon has turned red, but what I do like that I'm seeing is some penetration into the ribbon, and we're coming back up to test it, so I don't imagine that this ribbon is going to be very strong, which is good news, because if we see just a little tiny bit of downside to confirm another bottom, double bottom over here, triple bottom overall, I could see the Gaussian ribbon turning green very quickly and getting a nice burst of upside. Overall, I'm excited about BVM, Bitcoin Virtual Machine, ordinals, runestones, and all that stuff. All the stuff that's going on in the Bitcoin ecosystem. I know it's not popular amongst Bitcoin maximalists or Bitcoin maxis, but to me, evolving this ecosystem, incentivizing mining, incentivizing actual use cases beyond just store of value and trading for Bitcoin is a step in the right direction. We've seen it, work on Ethereum, even though Ethereum has its fair share of problems. And, but to effectively conduct DeFi, GameFi, SocialFi, and all these other things on Bitcoin, we need speed. And that is the one thing with a proof of work system that you're not going to get. The thing you do get with a proof of work system that is really nice is probably the best security, the best security that you can get, but at the expense of speed. You also get decentralization. I mean, what is more decentralized than Bitcoin? So the speed and scalability is sort of the issue, and I feel like BVM helps solve that problem and address that problem directly by providing the architecture for scalable layer 2s and layer 1 protocols on Bitcoin. So, well, I'm layer 2, I'm not layer 1. So yeah, like with things like Naka chain, which has like a 2-second resolution time, I think that, the Bitcoin ecosystem is, think of this as sort of like 2009 or 2010 for the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? This stuff just started really coming into development in 2022, and really becoming more widespread in late 2023 and even now. So you have to be patient with projects like BVM. With a $100 million market cap, only about 25 million in circulation right now, this project could easily pull 100x. Maybe not this cycle, maybe this cycle, who knows? I don't know. But to me, I got into BVM a little bit high. I think my average cost basis is somewhere around $4 or $4.30. So I'm a little sad about that at the moment. I got kind of tricked by the fake out, thinking we were recovering, and it didn't happen. So I'm at a little bit of a loss right now. But I'm not going to ditch my BVM because this project looks really strong from a fundamental standpoint. I think I will stay in it and just kind of see what happens. Again, there's a lot of indicators that, point to short-term crabbiness, maybe slight bearishness, but looking more out into the medium term, things start to look quite bullish. So I think the selling pressure is starting to get exhausted. I don't think we're going to see too much more weakness with this one. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. If I had to draw a zone of support, I would probably say, this region in here is very likely to hold. So I think that we will see some chopping in this region, and then some point later, maybe in June, if I had to guess, June, July timeframe, we'll probably see these highs retested and probably taken out. So I expect BVM to move very aggressively from here. I don't think that it's going to stay down at these low prices for very long. So I can't tell you what to do. Again, this is not financial advice, but I think DCAing BVM around the levels that we're at, as long as we're in this red box, can make sense. Again, I got in a little bit higher. Let's pull up the beam indicator and see kind of what the beam is telling us. Not surprised, undervalued. I mean, even when I bought it, it was considering the asset undervalued. So from a long-term risk management point of view, I don't think you could go wrong DCAing some BVM and accumulating it while it's in the red zone, or even maybe a little slightly above there. Of course, you want to keep your cost basis as low as possible. Could it go lower? Yes, it could. I think it very well may, and it could retest this low here. It could retest 250, but I think that we're likely to see things turn around not that long from now. So once again, thank you for joining me in the crypto simulation. I am the Gaussian Snack, and I encourage you to like, subscribe to this channel, and comment on this video with any thoughts that you have about BVM or its associated layer 2s or ordinals or anything else related to the Bitcoin ecosystem. I'd love to have you in my Telegram group, the Snack Pit, so click on the link in the video description to do that. And otherwise, just to remember, once again, not financial advice, do your own research and all that. But if you do choose to buy BVM, they have a really great Telegram community I'm a part of, so be sure to also join that as well to keep up with the latest news with this cool, exciting new project.